So this is a video response to this video that I made. There are a lot of interesting comments in the comment section. A lot of people made some really insightful comments, and I want to respond to those. And on the other hand, there are people who are on the complete opposite of the spectrum. Instead that I'm uttering nonsense, that I'm saying nothing at all. Well, I want to say that what I want to say is that part of it is my fault. You know, like I said, the way I think isn't a language. Language is not my first language, and the way I think it's more preferable for me to translate those thoughts directly into visual images or music and stuff like that. But I mean, while that it is my fault that I'm not very good at communicating ideas verbally, maybe you should criticize yourself. Why would there be such a insightful discussion going on in the comment section if I'm uttering nothing, right? Maybe it's a reflection of your own emptiness of your own mind, right? I mean, you feel free to jump into the discussion. You know, just say that I'm saying nothing and then leave and then drop out. It's sort of a cop out. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so. What else? So the response to this video is that a lot of people in the comment section are saying that beauty is subjective, right? And every time I make a video talking about aesthetics or taste, people always jump in and say that taste and beauty, especially beauty, is all subjective. That I have a problem with that. And while I don't disagree with it completely, I have a problem with people thinking that beauty is everything goes or anything goes. That each person can have his own criteria of what beauty is and everyone is right. Well, this gets a little complicated than that. let me talk about this book for a second. The Art Instinct by Dennis Dutton. Beauty, Pleasure, and Human Evolution. Where this guy argues that art is an instinct. The innate capacity to appreciate certain kind of art and find them beautiful is an innate pre-wired capacity of the human brain passed on by evolution, right, to us. We innately find certain creations of artwork beautiful, and this is true throughout history. They do service, you know, and look at art history and throughout society. And one thing you know for certain that something isn't subjective, isn't just shaped by culture, is to study, you know, people all over the world and throughout history. And if you find a connecting thread, then maybe it's something that is universal, something that's part of human nature. And he thinks that artworks are like that, like the fact that almost everyone would find certain landscape like this beautiful. Our brains are pre-wired to want to be in this kind of environment, because if you're living in this kind of environment, first of all, you have water, and water is always good for survival. And if you have blue sky, open sky means that, oh, good day to go hunting. And the fact that you can peer through, right? You can peer through the open space, meaning that at this spot right here, you're safe. You can see danger, right? From far away, you can see danger. And people like flowers that are, you know, vibrant, because near those vibrant colored flowers, you find fruits that are high in calories, right? And same thing with fear of snake, right? I mean, people all over the world are afraid of snakes, right? And afraid of heights, because you don't have time to teach a baby not to be afraid of heights. It has to be innate. If you want to teach him throughout the years and bring up a child into being afraid of snakes, afraid of heights, it might be too late. By the time they learn, they died. They probably fell off the cliff already. And they even did experiments on babies where they show babies pictures of people that are more symmetrical faces. They smile more, and they play babies melodies that are in harmony, and they like it more. They're less anxious than if they play them like a minor chord or a dissonant chord, right? So all the experiments sort of prove the fact that we have an innate capacity for beauty, but within that perimeter, you can tweak it a little bit, right? A lot of times people give me some examples to try to prove to me that beauty is culturally defined or subjective. And I've responded to those examples with exceptions. Those are really the cases where exceptions prove the rule. Well, let me give you an example. Someone might say, well, I have a friend who really is into fat girls. Okay, so that means beauty is subjective. Some people just think fat people are beautiful. How many people, ask yourself this, how many people do you know that honestly, genuinely want to fuck fat girls? Maybe 1 out of 200? And that's an exception that proved the rule. I mean, that person who has a weird, mutated, innate disposition for wanting to fuck fat girls, maybe that person isn't gonna get his genes passed on, right? So maybe it's like a mutation of his genes, that he's a freak of nature, right? And evolution is okay with 1 out of 20 people liking fat girls. It's okay with that, because 19 people would not want fat girls, and they would fuck more aesthetic people and have better genes that gets passed on into future generations. So mutations of the genes that have weird preferences sometimes it doesn't matter. And a lot of people point out to the fact that look at look at how the evolution of fashion changes, or the evolution of art. They say that, okay, look at the Venus of the cave, right? The sculpture, the first sculpture they found, where it's sort of fat, right? And look at Rubens women. They're pretty chubby, right? People back in the days probably think the fat girls are beautiful. And look at the Victoria's Secret runway models today. They're all really skinny, and that means that today we have a different conception of beauty. Well, I have a few things to say about that. First of all, if you look at art and look at fashion, a lot of the times they are making a statement, right? They're stylizing a certain, make a creative breakthrough. That doesn't mean that that is what people find beautiful, right? In Africans, a lot of people, they decorate their faces, like they pierce their faces, but like that's just for art. That's just for the fact that they want to make a statement. But I mean, honestly, do you think those people really want to fuck those girls with 20 holes on their faces, right? I mean, Steven Pinker did that in his book. Those people might not find those people beautiful, but it's a statement. It's a fashion statement, right? Same with Victoria's Secret's model or the Rubens paintings. The second thing that I want to say is that those are really, even if you look at Rubens' painting or the sculpture that are quote-unquote fat, they are just sort of emphasizing fertility cues, right? That we find beautiful. I mean, if you look at the quote-unquote fat sculptures, they have quite good ratios. They have the correct hip and waist ratio, and so do the women in Rubens' paintings. We're just exaggerating it, which only points to the fact that we like that ratio so much that we have to sort of exaggerate it. Yeah, so within that, I mean, culture, I'm not taking culture out of the equation completely. I'm just saying that taste and your preference for beauty, there is a certain innate capacity for those, but that doesn't mean that you can't train yourself to overcome the fear of snakes, for example, right? And that doesn't mean that within the perimeter, you can't sort of push that limit. You know, how fat, like you say, okay, Rubens girls are fat. Like, how fat are they really? They're not that fat, right? Like I said, it's an artistic statement, but at the same time, they're not that fat, right? You can't just be like, okay, Rubens' time, they're like fat girls, right? They're not obese, you know what I'm saying? So, and yeah, one thing that I forgot to mention is that in this book, he mentioned, Steven Pinker also mentioned the fact that modern art, a lot of the stuff that modern artists are trying to do, they'll never become popular because they're fucking around with our innate capacity for beauty, right? It might be art, it might be creative, it might make people think about things differently, but that doesn't mean that people really enjoy it. You appreciate the fact that you're trying to break boundaries, you appreciate the attitude, but I mean, honestly, face it, nobody's gonna find dissonance beautiful to the ears.